Hello everyone, it's Jonathan here again from Nassau English School. I hope you're all keeping safe and well and that you're finding ways to keep improving and developing your English. I've got another tongue twister video for you today with two more tongue twisters for you to practice. So here is the first one. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbled gobbling goblins. Like I've said many times before, these are really random phrases. They don't really make much sense. There might be some new words here, so I'm just going to explain. Gobbling is basically eating, maybe eating really fast. You know, if you imagine a really greedy, hungry monster, like a gargoyle or a goblin, just going like that, basically, that's gobbling. A gargoyle is something you might see on a church or a cathedral maybe. It's like a little creature made out of stone that you see kind of like that on the side of a church. You know, maybe you see on like the tower, you might see it. Some churches have quite a few gargoyles, and they've also appeared in a few movies and in a few kind of fantasy books as well. And then goblins, again, they're kind of fantasy creatures. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You might have seen them in things like Lord of the Rings or that sort of thing. Okay, so a bit of a fantasy theme to this one. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbled gobbling goblins. Now you'll notice that every word in this tongue twister begins with the letter G and begins with a G sound. G. Okay, so that comes from the back of the throat. G, G, G. And you're kind of pushing through. G, G. Okay, you've got gobbling, and then the next word you've got gargoyles. Two syllables, both syllables begin with a G. Gar and goyle. Gargoyles. Obviously, it's the plural form. Okay, so you've got that G sound. And in English, when every word in a particular sentence, or maybe just a few words in a row starting with the same letter, we call this alliteration. But this tongue twister here is an example of alliteration. Word in the tongue twister begins with the letter G, and you've got an extra one in gargoyles as well. The next bit I want to focus on is this double B and L sound. In the first word, gobbling, gobbling, that is 3 syllables. Gobbling. Okay, it's almost like you've got a ball in the middle. Okay, gobbling, gobbling. Obviously, he's saying it very quickly. If you look at the third word, so you've got the past simple of the verb gobble, you have gobbled, gobbled. Okay, gobbled, 2 syllables. So in the first word, gobbling, you have 3. So you have a kind of ball, and then you have the ing sound. And then in the third word, gobbled, stress is on the first syllable again, and you've got the bald as the second syllable. So there's a small difference there, gobbling and gobbled. Gobbling, gobbled. I also want to focus on the last sound in the word gobbling. Obviously, you might recognize ing from words like sing or thing, or obviously any other continuous verb. You know, like the present continuous, I am doing something. Okay, so doing, going, and all of those verbs, the ing form or the continuous form, or otherwise known as the present participle. So this sound, because you've got the ng at the end, that is again at the back of the throat. When you make this sound, you should feel the muscles at the back of your throat kind of squeezing together a bit. When you say the word sing or gobbling. Okay, so you should feel that sound. Any word that ends with ng or ing or ong, like song, for example, will have that sound in it. So it's from the back of the throat. It's different to this sound. So notice I've underlined the gobbling, and also in the last word, the goblins, I've underlined the second syllable, because here is a similar sound, but there is no G. So in gobbling, it comes from the back of the throat, but with the last word, goblins, the N, the letter N there with no G, comes from the front, comes from the tongue and the teeth. Goblin, And obviously with the S on the end, but the S is not an S, it's a Z. It's more like a Z sound. Goblins. Goblins. Okay, so you have gobbling, goblins. Okay, so don't get the two sounds confused. You have gobbling with NG on the end, and then goblin. One goblin would be with N, but this is the plural form, so there's a Z at the end. So you have goblins with no G. It's not gobblings, it's goblins at the front with the tongue and the teeth. So let's practice doing this one. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbling goblins. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbling goblins. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbling goblins. You can practice that one at home. Practice that one to really practice the B sound and the ing and the G sound. It's a good one for practicing your G sounds. Okay, so now we're going to move on to another one, which is also to do with eating. There's an eating connection with these tongue twisters. I've only just realised that. How many cans can a cannibal nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans? As many cans as a cannibal can nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans. Again, doesn't make sense. Who cares? I don't. So, the first word that I want to focus on here is can as a noun, okay, as a name. By can here, obviously we're talking about can of drink. For example, a can of Coke, or a can of beer, or a can of lemonade. Okay, can. Okay, about this size, you hold it in your hand, different from a bottle. This is can as a noun, okay? That's the noun, can, with the plural form, cans. Next, we have the modal verb, can, okay? So obviously, like, I am able to do something, or it is possible to do something, that sort of thing. I'm sure many of you have studied it before. Now, some of you may remember this. If you've been in lessons with me, I know I've taught it to some of you. Remember, when you do a positive sentence, so when you're using can and not can't, then normally can, the modal verb can, is pronounced in a weak form, okay? I would say, I can do something, but at normal speed, it's, I can do something. How many cans can a cannibal nibble? So like I've put on the screen, the sound is kun, kun. How many cans can a cannibal? Can a cannibal, okay? It's quite useful to know that and to think about that because it makes it different from the cans, the noun can, but also if you look at the next word, cannibal, the first syllable of that is also can. Okay, so it's good to get that difference in there. But also, when you're doing your positive sentences using this modal verb can, that's the correct pronunciation. I can do something. I can go to the party. I can eat this spaghetti. The focus and the stress should always be on the main verb in the sentence. When you do a negative sentence with can't, I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, so can't and do are both stressed when it's negative. Right, so how many cans can a cannibal nibble? So it's a kun sound. It's not can, it's kun. So whenever you do the modal verb can in this tongue twister, it should be this weak pronunciation. The only time you would really put stress and emphasis on it is if you really wanted to kind of overemphasize it, like I can do it or something like that, which obviously I'm really pushing that, I'm forcing that. Now, the last things I've highlighted on this last screen. First of all, the word cannibal. Some of you may know this word, but basically it's a person who eats other people. So this word, the stress is on the first syllable, cannibal, cannibal. Okay, so stress the first syllable of that, 3 syllables, cannibal, cannibal. Then I've got the verb nibble, nibble. This is another verb to do with eating, but where gobbling and gobble was more to do with like nibble, it's like if I have a biscuit, I maybe just go, I just have a small piece of the biscuit. I nibble. An animal might nibble on some food you give it. Like if any of you have got pets, like a hamster, it might nibble on some food that you give it. Or, dare I say, a rat might nibble on something. But let's not dwell on that image too much. So, a nibble is like small eating. Gobble is big eating. Nibble is small eating, okay? Now, you've got the word cannibal, and you'll notice I've underlined the ending there, and then you've got the verb nibble, okay? So you've got nibble in the word cannibal, and then you've got nibble, the verb. So you've got a bit of a clash there of two, basically the same sounds. So you've got how many cans can a cannibal nibble? The way you can make this different is obviously, like I said before, cannibal, the stress is on the first syllable, cannibal, whereas the verb nibble, the stress is on the first syllable, nibble, nibble. Okay, so cannibal, nibble, cannibal, nibble. Okay, so you can hopefully hear the difference there. Okay, and you've got that all the way through. Okay, you've got cans, can of drink, can, the verb, pronounced kun, the weak form, the weak pronunciation, cannibal, and nibble. Okay, and those words are repeated all the way through in ways to try and confuse your mouth. Okay, so let's go through it slowly. How many cans can a cannibal nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans? As many cans as a cannibal can nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans. Now, you'll notice there that when I did this second part, I did actually put a bit more stress on the can in as a cannibal can nibble. I did that just because in terms of the meaning of the sentence, it felt right to do it, just to kind of differentiate it a bit more. But let's try it again, and I'll try not to do that this time. How many cans can a cannibal nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans? As many cans as a cannibal can nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans. There, that was better. That was a bit more natural. Okay, right. I'm going to try and do it very quickly. Let's see if I can do it without messing it up this time. Okay, right. How many cans can a cannibal nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans? As many cans as a cannibal can nibble if a cannibal can nibble cans. Whew. There we are. Good, I managed it. Okay, so you've got a few different sounds to practice there. So I hope you can practice that one at home, and you can also practice the Gobbling Gargoyles one too. And also you can look back through my other videos and you can practice those other tongue twisters as well. So I hope you've enjoyed these tongue twister videos. I may be able to do some more in the future, depending on how long this lockdown will continue for and how long we'll continue doing these videos for. So keep looking out for these videos on the Nassau School Instagram page and also the Facebook page. I know that Nick recently did a video about making scones, and you'll also have some live lessons to keep an eye out for. So look out for those, as well as any other videos and bits of vocabulary and things that we put out on the social media pages. And don't forget that if you want to improve your English in a more direct way, then you can sign up for online lessons and contact the school in the usual way to find out more information about that. And I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Use the videos and stuff that we're putting on the social media pages to keep your English going so that you don't forget everything we've taught you. And hopefully I will see you very soon. Goodbye.